also Adrian Morrell, a rookie out of West Virginia. Both guys back as we're ready to go. The 4th week here on TNT. Sisson gets into this one. Mathis will bring it out. Out to the 15. Mathis to the 25 to the 27-yard line. And so the Jets will start with good field position. And 32-year-old Boomer Esiason comes in at quarterback. Number 2 rated quarterback in the AFC, completing almost 70% of his passes. As Pat was mentioning, he's brought tremendous leadership to this team. Reunited with Bruce Coslet, his former offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. He appears to have found that fountain of youth at 32. Single running back, Brad Baxter. Chris Burkett comes in motion, hand off to Baxter, and Baxter hammers across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Gain of 5, it'll be 2nd down. Let's check the rest of the offensive attack for the Patriots. Blair Thomas, they're trying to get him started. Moore coming off of 2 100-yard days. And Mitchell, a new tight end, a guy who's come back in much better shape. Up front, this was the question mark for this team. And the last game against the Dolphins, they did not give up a sack, the first time since 1982. Down and 5. Blair Thomas, nice stop start, got the first down out to the 45. Very good vision that time by Thomas. 13-yard pickup on the play. Defensively, the Patriots have had a tough time stopping the run, giving up 191 yards. They're not very big up front. John Washington used to play for Bill Parcells. Slade is a remarkable rookie. He comes in here with 5 sacks, and Brown is one of the best inside linebackers. And Thompson and Adrian White used to play for Bill Parcells and the New York Giants. First down at the 45. They pick up the blitz, hand off. And running with the ball is Adrian Morrell, and Morrell has not seen that much action. They've used him primarily on the special teams, but he is the guy that excites them, a 5th-round draft pick out of West Virginia.
Well, Gary, no surprise early in this game. The Jets come out and run the ball 3 straight plays, the first 2 gained a first down. And, you know, we were talking to Tim Goad, the nose tackle of the Patriots yesterday, and he said, hey, we expect them to run. We're giving up 191 yards rushing. We expect the Jets to come out and run from the very first play, and if we don't stop them, we're going to see a lot of runs tonight.
2nd down, 8 yards to go. Morrell goes in motion. Esiason looking his way. Morrell with a catch, and he's instantaneously hit on the far side. Good coverage by Maurice Hurst, flying up from the right cornerback spot. You know, Morrell has not really played that many snaps from center, but getting in the early action here instead of Johnny Johnson, who we expected to see back up Blair Thomas most of the time.
Well, the Jets are going to try to get some production out of the running game with a number of backs. You know, we've seen Baxter, we've seen Thomas, and we've seen Morrell so far. We'll also see Johnny Johnson as a 3rd down back for them as well. So they're trying to get a lot of people involved. They're not going to have one guy carry the ball 25 or 30 times.
3rd and 5 for the midfield strike. Thomas comes in motion. Esiason pressure up the middle, gets the ball underway and complete for the first down. Rob Moore coming back, makes the catch to the 41 of New England. First down, New York.
Gary, I don't think the Patriots can win this game without blitzing Boomer Esiason a lot. This is a guy that if you let him get too comfortable, if you let Esiason get too comfortable, he's going to pick you apart, and he's going to use big receivers like this and Rob Moore. Now, Esiason got hit late there by Chris Slade. But you have to try to get to Esiason early, and it's going to take some safety blitzes, I think, and corner blitzes to do so.
First down at the 41-yard line. Johnny Mitchell with a new number, 86 tonight. Get to Thomas. Thomas trying to bend it wide, gets a yard to the 40. So for Jet fans, if you're confused, Johnny Mitchell has gone back to his number he had at Nebraska, number 86. He previously played with number 83. 2nd down and 9.
Johnny Mitchell is a guy, as a tight end, ought to have a pretty good evening tonight because of the double zone defense you see a lot of the Patriots. The tight end ought to catch some passes against the Patriots the way they play defense.
Initial drive of the game at the 40-yard line now for the Jets. A lot of movement. Burkett to the top of the field, split out to the near side is Moore. Esiason over the middle, complete to Moore. He's got it to 30, to 25, and Renee Thompson catches up with him. Another first down. A very well-designed initial series by this Jet team. That's an 18-yard pickup on the play.
See, Rob Moore is an emerging player in the NFL. Rob Moore is a big guy. He's 6'3", 205 pounds, a guy that a quarterback would love to throw the ball to, and he's got speed. He's fast enough, really, to run away from almost every cornerback in the league.
140 yards earlier this year. That's the most by any receiver in the AFC coming into this weekend. First down from the 22. Esiason on the play action. Chris Burkett makes a catch to the 5. Burkett fighting for the goal line. He's out at the 1.
I'll tell you, Boomer Esiason is off to a great start to this year and to this game. You know, we talked about the 350-yard passing games that he's had on average his first 2 ball games. But what it starts with is some very good pass blocking. Gives him plenty of time to get set up, throw the ball outside, and he really has used different receivers, Gary, and he's thrown different kind of routes. He's thrown outside routes, crossing routes to some guys he hasn't used much in the past, and that makes it a very effective drive.
4 of 4 now is Boomer for 50 yards. Patriots have tough time stopping him inside the red zone. Trying to get wide, fighting for the goal line. Baxter can't get in. It'll be 2nd and goal there. He is so good in short yardage. He scored 17 touchdowns the last 2 years. 11 2 years ago.
Well, he got his feet in, but he wasn't carrying the ball with his feet on that particular run. And the reason he's a good short yardage player is he gets his pads low and he stays low and he bounces off people. Now, Chafee, number 28, trying to block 2 or 3 guys, but you see how he gets down low and refuses to be tackled?
2nd and goal at the half-yard line. 10th play of the drive. Mitchell comes in motion. Puts it in. Touchdown.
That was a heck of an opening drive. A heck of an opening drive. Different receivers and different backs. Good protection for Esiason.
Well, Boomer has had 2 outstanding games, and it looks like he's going to have 3 in a row the way this game has started. Point after attempt coming up now. Terry Blanchard puts it on the way, and it's 7-0 New York. So the Jets give it off to Baxter, who's so tough in short yardage. He takes it in, and they kept the first drive of the game.
This is Malamala, the tackle here. This is Thornton, the tight end. He stands his guy up, and Chafee is going to come in and block on the linebacker. I'll tell you, when you get 3 standoff blocks like that at the goal line, you have a chance for a short yardage runner like Brad Braxton to get into the end zone.
And that's the first points in the first quarter this year for the Jets. They've been outscored 13-0. 73-yard drive, 10 plays, took 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Good balance, 4 pass and 6 run. Aguiar will kick off very short. Troy Brown will bring it out to the 15. And that's as far as it goes. And you can see the Jets inspired by that offensive thrust by the Jets to start the game as Drew Bledsoe comes in, the #1 pick in the draft. Last year's Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year. Has all the tools. One thing the coaches talk about is incredible accuracy on long throws. And looks very seasoned. A coach's son. He's been around the game for many, many years and plays very smart. First down just inside the 15. Leonard Russell, Sam Gash in the backfield. It'll be Russell, and they're going to try to establish him, and Leonard Russell gets 5 out to the 20-yard line, and Leonard Marshall made the stop. Well, the Patriots have not been able to run the football, and Russell's been having a tough time hanging on to it. Gash, a good lead blocker. You'll see Brisby a lot tonight, the rookie. Marv Cook, a 2-time Pro Bowler at tight end. The offensive line has 3 #1 draft picks, and they're doing a much better job than a year ago. Armstrong, a remarkable return from a severe knee injury. 2nd and 4. Runs into someone, gets knocked backwards, and that somebody was Brian Washington, coming up from his strong safety spot. They have 2 of the hardest hitters in the league at safeties, and Lott and Washington. Looking up front at the Jets, Leonard Marshall used to play for Bill Parcells, went to 3 Pro Bowls, played in 2 Super Bowls. Lagerman coming back from a bad knee. Clifton, so smart at the middle linebacking spot. And there's Washington, the guy who just had that big hit a moment ago, along with Lott. 3rd down and 2. Cook goes in motion, pitch to Leonard Russell. Russell is going to get the 1st down, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 29. Brian Washington over there to make the stop, and that's got to be an encouraging start for Bill Parcells. They have not been able to run the football effectively, and they need Russell to have a big game.
Well, you're right. When you think of the Patriots' 0-3 start, it really is the result of the deficiency of the running game, both running it and stopping the run. But here they ran a couple of plays inside. He got a very nice lead block there by Gash, number 33. It was a 3rd and 2 play. Most 3rd and 2 plays are run inside, particularly with Leonard Russell. They go outside and are able to pick up the 1st.
Patriots averaging only 82 yards rushing a game. Bledsoe back on 1st down, and a little too long for Sam Gash coming out of the backfield at the 35-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down.
You know, one of the interesting things I thought Bill Parcells said to us yesterday, and one of the reasons Bledsoe's been throwing 41 passes a game, he said, hey, you know, we're not a good running football team yet, and the best chance we have of scoring is throwing the football. He goes, yeah, I'd like to run. I like to control the clock, do all those kinds of things. That's my style. But we don't have the players just yet to get it done.
The power football he had with the Giants. 2nd down and 10. Lott looked like he might be blitzing. He calls it off. And a hit on Leonard Russell by Mo Lewis, who is fast becoming one of the premier outside linebackers in the NFL. Out of Georgia in his 3rd year.
Yeah, Mo Lewis is another one of those emerging players right here. And we talked about Rob Moore being an emerging player for the Jets. Mo Lewis as well. Now, he plays their weak side linebacker, and they use him in a lot of different ways. Obviously, his stuff runs like that. He can stop outside plays, and he is a great blitzer.
3rd and 12 now for Bledsoe and the Patriots, and Drew will go to the shotgun. Pressure coming. Jeff Lagerman's got him. A sack at the 20-yard line. Lagerman, who blew out a knee in the 2nd game last year, came back strong last week. He says he's still not 100% on that knee, but he gets the sack, a 6-yard loss on the play, and it's 4th down.
Okay, what Lagerman does a great job is not only the quick rush upfield, but then it's the right angle to the quarterback. You know, there's a lot of guys quick off the ball, but once you get past that tackle, then you have to take the right angle. You know exactly where the quarterback's going to be set up, and you make a sack like he did there.
8 sacks the Patriots have given up. Mike Saxon, who punted 8 years for the Cowboys, gets it underway. And here comes a return by Clifford Hicks, the former Buffalo Bill. And he's going to be knocked out of bounds as he returns it all the way to the 43 of New England. Kerry Kroom over to make the stop. That was a low punt and went only 38 yards and returned for 16 yards. So the Jets, with a 7-0 lead, they have the football for the 2nd time. 5:07 in quarter number 1.
To go by Jeff Lagerman. Now, he got off the ball quickly, but he got away with a face mask. And that was a pretty good one.
Is there a good face mask?
I mean, if you're going to do it, do it.
Line of scrimmage now, the 43. Esiason with the ball again. Last time he drove it 73 yards. He's 4 of 4 for 50 yards. Running back back is Johnny Johnson. Johnson will get to the 40-yard line and slam backwards, a gain of 3. Johnny Johnson coming over from the Phoenix Cardinals, a draft day trade. They exchanged first-round picks for the Cardinals. They ended up taking Marvin Jones 4th, and the Cardinals got Garrison Hurst. And additionally, this guy who can catch it, run inside tough, and get to the corner as well.
You're right, Gary. I think Johnny Johnson, before this season's over, really going to have an impact to this Jet team because they need a back that can run routes out of the backfield, and Johnson can do that.
2nd down and 8 now for the Jets. 7-0, 4:34 in the first quarter. Thornton in motion. Johnson again straight ahead. You forget how big this guy is. He's 6'3", weighs 220 pounds. John Washington made the stop on him. It'll be a 3rd down and still 5 to go.
You know, watching this offensive line for the Jets, they're a little bit unusual. Most offensive lines try to, block you vertically, knock you off the ball. What they're doing is really try to block you horizontally and just create some running lanes, some gaps for Johnny Johnson and Blair Thomas and Murrell to run through. A little different philosophy of the offensive line.
Brad Baxter in the backfield, joined by Blair Thomas. Thomas in motion. Esiason is 4 of 4, now 5 of 5. As Rob Moore latches on to his 3rd catch of the game, that will be inside the 30, and that's another 1st down for the Jets. Rob Moore, in the estimation of Boomer Esiason, is my Jerry Rice. He has so much confidence in him. 3 catches now for 35 yards.
Yeah, the thing about Rob Moore is, as we talked about earlier, he's 6'3", so he's a big target. I mean, you can throw him the ball over the middle, on the sideline, everywhere. And the other thing is, he can really jump. I mean, you don't have to make a perfect throw for Rob Moore to catch it because he can really adjust.
At the 30, a 1st down. Blitz is coming. Play action by Esiason. And the catch is made at the 15-yard line. Johnny Mitchell, the tight end, takes it to the 10. Here's a guy who's 18 pounds lighter, cut his body fat from 14 to 7%, has a new resolve this year, and he's going to impact the Jets team.
Well, see what happens when you cut your body percent in half? But the thing about Johnny Mitchell, he's got some speed for a tight end, and if you don't jam him at the line of scrimmage, he is going to make some plays like that.
We have Maurice Hurst shaken up for New England. We'll come back. A 1st down at the 10. 7-0, the Jets. America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear providing aerial views for tonight's action. Looks like it's right up there with the moon tonight. As we come back now, 1st down at the 10-yard line for the Jets. Baxter and Thomas in the backfield. 7-0 New York. Blair Thomas fighting his way close to the 5. He'll be stopped there. They can get a 1st and goal at the half-yard line.
Well, Bill Parcells said yesterday, we cannot let Boomer Esiason get comfortable. In this first quarter, he has gotten comfortable. He really has not been rushed throwing the football. They've been able to run the ball very effectively against this Patriot defense, which most teams have. And as a result, he's 6 of 6.
Well, he's hitting almost 70% of his passes coming in here.
And that, as Bruce Kosler was saying, he's really not a 70% passer. He's more of a 55% passer, but he's had a great start to the year.
2nd and 5. Johnny Johnson fighting for the goal line, moving the pile, and he takes it in for the touchdown. A 6-yard run.
Bill Parcells very concerned about the size of his defense. He thinks they're smallish, and when you're small, you get run over like that. And Johnny Johnson just ran over at least 1, maybe 2 Patriot defenders.
And he went behind the big right guard, Dwayne White. They called him a road grader, and he absolutely was paving the way for Johnson on that play. Gary Blanchard now with his 2nd point after attempt. 1:42 to go in this first quarter. 13-0 New York. Aguiar on the hold. Blanchard makes it 14-0.
Gary, watch Johnny Johnson. He's going to run right through not a defensive back, but Mike Pitts, number 93, who's a defensive lineman. Now, Pitts weighs 277 pounds, and he pushes him back 4 yards into the end zone. That's a very determined run.
66-yard touchdown run, 14-0. We have 1:42 left in this first quarter, and the Jets have had the football 10 minutes and 5 seconds.
They're playing like an old Parcells team.
Problem for Bill, it's not the right team as far as he's concerned.
Right stadium, wrong team.
That's right. Aguiar to kickoff. Crittenden and Brown are back deep for the Patriots. And that ball is going to go out of bounds, so they'll get it to the 35-yard line. Well, that defensive front is really struggling for the New England Patriots. They're not very big up front. And Jets trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's Tim Goad, the nose tackle, telling his coach Romeo Crennel, that I'm getting pulled away. When that happens, this is the result. Dwayne White, the right tackle, Sweeney, the center. I mean, they're just blowing their guys off the ball, and anybody they don't block, Johnny Johnson takes care of. I mean, when your offensive line is coming off the line of scrimmage like that, Gary, you're going to gain a lot of yards and score a lot of points.
And defensive coordinator Al Groh has his work cut out for him tonight from the 35-yard line now. Good field position for the Patriots. Bledsoe swings it far side. Russell makes a catch. So Brian Washington's over there, and Washington's made 3 tackles here early. A couple of yards on the play, and that's all. Washington flying over there.
You know, one of the things the Jet defense wanted to do was to really be able to force Leonard Russell to fumble the ball early. You know, he's got the team has 3 fumbles on the year. He has 3 fumbles, and they felt they could get Leonard Russell to cough it up early. And it's not the first tackle, Gary. It's that second and third guy around Leonard Russell going to try to strip him of the ball.
He fumbled on the opening drive last week against Seattle. 2nd down and 8. Nice play action by Bledsoe over the middle and incomplete. Intended receiver was Greg McMurtry at the 45-yard line. And Eric Thomas, who played with Boomer the year they made it to the Super Bowl, the Cincinnati Bengals. And the former Pro Bowler in 1988 broke that one up.
So you talk about a perfectly timed tip. That's what Eric Thomas did right there. I mean, it's awfully tough playing corner in the NFL. Because you got some speed guys, you have to cover on every down, you have to tackle big fullbacks, and then you have to make plays like that, knocking the ball away from a receiver without interfering. That's a heck of a play by Eric Thomas.
Bledsoe 1 of 3 now for 2 yards. 3rd down and 8. And they're going to blow this one dead with 57 seconds left here in this first quarter.
Delay of the game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Ed Huckley, the referee tonight. Delay a game, 5-yard penalty, moving it back to the 32.
Now, Bill Parcells knows this is going to be a 2- or 3-year project. I mean, free agency offers him an opportunity to make some wholesale changes a year from now. But it's not going to happen overnight. They have too many missing pieces.
3rd and 13 now for New England. Bledsoe needs something good to happen here. And it's the wrong team. Lageman with the interception. Lageman will take it inside the 20 and knocked out of bounds inside the 15. He threw it right to number 56.
You know, Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator, said, yeah, you know, we have a bunch of free agents that come in here like Ronnie Lott and Eric Thomas to help us. But the biggest guy that's going to make a difference coming back this year is Jeff Lageman. I mean, it means more to have him back on this team on defense after his knee injury than it is to have Ronnie Lott playing free safety for us. And you see why. He's had a sack in the first quarter and now an interception.
An inspirational leader of the defense, and he sets it up now, 1st down at the 16-yard line. Lageman with his first interception, and a guy who's fought back from that severe knee injury. James Thornton comes in motion. Blair Thomas trying to go wide. The Patriots react well this time.
Gary, but this is precisely why Bill Parcells hasn't been able to implement his system, if you will, his methodology of winning, you know, controlling the clock, running the football, because they've gotten behind so much, and certainly in the opening game against the Bills and against the Seahawks a week ago, now they find themselves down by 14 points, looking like at least 17. So they're going to have to use Bledsoe again, asking a rookie to save them. And rookies just generally don't do that when they're playing quarterbacks.
That's right. Bledsoe suffered 5 interceptions thus far. Bill Parcells grew up 2 miles here from the Meadowlands in Ordell, New Jersey. And not getting treated very well here tonight. Esiason back on 2nd down and 11. Baxter takes it to the 5. Andre Tippett over to make the stop, and they right now with good diversity are moving the football, and Esiason is really playing with a strong hand. They're going to mark this ball at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, and a strong personality. I mean, he plays with both. And we talked about that personality and that aura of confidence. And, you know, you've seen a young quarterback and a very mature quarterback. And that thin line between winning and losing and confidence and self-doubt. You have a very confident quarterback in Boomer Esiason and one that may be doubting himself right now in the other guy, Drew Bledsoe.
First quarter rushing touchdowns and a 14-0 lead over the New England Patriots. On our pregame show, Phil Simms talked about how Bill Parcells hates it when his defense can't stop the run. By the way, 39 field goals have been kicked thus far today in the NFL. Ernie will have highlights. We'll be back here at halftime with Kevin and Phil. Join us then.
You're right, and Christie had a 59-yarder for Buffalo. And here come the Jets on a 3rd and 1 as we start the second quarter. 14-0, New York. Burkett will come in motion. Esiason to Baxter. Baxter inside the 5, and he's going to be stopped just inside the 5. It'll be a 1st and goal.
Gary, let's go back one play when Boomer Esiason threw the ball to Brad Baxter a moment ago. And when you have a quarterback that can look to his left, pat the ball a couple times, then look over the middle, nothing there. Then you come back to Brad Baxter, who is at least his 3rd, maybe the 4th receiver on that play. You know you're going to have a successful offensive night.
You had a lot of nights like that, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
1st and goal into 4. The last game, the Jets were 3 of 3 inside the 20 against Miami. They're 2 of 2 tonight, trying to make it 3 in a row. Hand off to Baxter. Baxter fighting for the goal, and he's in. Touchdown, his 2nd of the night.
Well, Bob Neal said there were 39 field goals today in the NFL. We may not see too many of them here tonight. 3 touchdowns for the Jets, and I tell you, Brad Baxter is a great short yardage runner, but an unusual short yardage runner, Gary, in that he's just not a plugger. I mean, he can find a hole, and then when he finds it, he can really thud it in there.
He punishes you, doesn't he?
Most guys are just pluggers, but he's got some moves for a good short yardage back.
20-0. Kerry Blanchard's point after attempt. And so the Jets have done nothing wrong here tonight. After the interception, took 4 plays, covering 16 yards, and Baxter with his 2nd touchdown of the night. Earlier from 1, this time from 4 yards out.
Being an unusual short yardage runner. Watch what happens here. This ball is supposed to go to the left here, but he's got it right there. Everybody's moving this way, and most guys kind of stay with the hole on short yardage. He's able to bounce it around the corner and then has enough strength to run right through Ray Agnew, who's 272 pounds, to get in the end zone. So Baxter has some moves for a short yardage guy.
Oh, we talked about how effective he was 2 years ago. He scored 11 rushing touchdowns. He has 2 tonight. Aguiar will kick off again. 21-0, the Jets. Ray Crittenden and Troy Brown, 2 rookies back for New England. It's going to be Brown, a rookie out of Marshall. And good reaction again by the Jets, and they're going to have bad field position starting from the 12-yard line. Fred Baxter, a rookie from Auburn, down to make the stop. And now it's time for tonight's GMC Truck Leaderboard. And we're going to take a look at the AFC quarterback rating after 3 weeks. And Montana was only better than Boomer Esiason. And Montana, of course, having that brilliant opening game against Tampa Bay, missing week 2 against Houston. Marino leading his Dolphins to victory today. Elway and Kelly. That's pretty good company for Boomer Esiason, who's reviving his career.
You know, Gary, everybody was wondering for a couple of years now, hey, had he lost something? Was his arm not as strong as it was in 88 and 89? Well, he's answered everybody now. I mean, last week he had 5 throws over 30 yards. 5 completions.
Then Coach goes in motion. Pitch to Russell. Russell for 5. Fights his way out to the 20 to the 21-yard line. A couple of yards short of the first down. Phil Piquel, number 71, the former Raider, over to make the stop. There he is. He's been 3 years with the Jets after playing 8 years for the Los Angeles Raiders.
Well, you know, Piquel is one of these guys who plays 15 to 18 plays for the Jets, and you're seeing that more and more from teams. And what it allows teams to do is really have some guys come in for a burst for 18 plays, 15 plays. So you have, I think, a faster game throughout the game, Gary, because of all the substitutions.
2nd down and 2 now. And they're going to get the first down. Kevin Turner out of Alabama. He and Sam Gash sharing that fullback spot. Quick hitter, and that might get the Patriots started now. They have a first down out to the 25-yard line. Turner, a very good lead blocker and a good receiver coming out of the backfield. That is the 2nd first down of the night for the New England Patriots. Numbers all in favor of the Jets, and Bledsoe to the backside. Ronnie Lott on the blitz, stripped into the ball, and the Jets have it.
You know, over the past 10 years, I would argue, Gary, only 2 players on defense have been able to win a football game week in and week out. Lawrence Taylor is one of them, and Ronnie Lott is the other. He get affected on the run game, on the pass game, and intimidation, and on the blitz. And not only did he blitz, it was a perfectly timed blitz. The quarterback never saw him cheating up, and never saw him coming from the backside. And that is a good blitz.
What we were saying, Bledsoe's learning something new every day. There's another one of those painful lessons that this rookie's getting.
Well, the Patriots earned the #1 draft pick last year the old-fashioned way. They earned it. And it's been a tough start for him again this year.
So they're going to set this one up now to 26-yard line. 21-0 the Jets. We still have 12:49 to play in the first half. Morrell goes in motion. It'll go to Morrell. He's hit by Renee Thompson and knocked out of bounds there. Next Sunday, TNT shuffles off to Buffalo as the New York Giants take on the Bills in a rematch of Super Bowl that was played in Pasadena. No, wait a minute. Super Bowl, that was what, 25? That was played where? Anyway, the Silver Bullet Stadium show kicks off at 7:30 Eastern, and the game follows at 8 o'clock. Phil Simms.
I tell you what, there's a guy who had a great Super Bowl performance.
Yes, sir.
22 of 25, that one win over Denver.
He got a free trip somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Deserved it.
On a 2nd down, Morrell changing direction, and he's going to lose maybe a yard on the play. Good reaction that time by Tim Goad, the new nose tackle out of North Carolina. It'll bring up a 3rd down.
And Tim Goad is got a good matchup tonight with Jim Sweeney, the center for the Jets. And what Goad was saying about Sweeney, and they play each other twice a year, he says he's got such quick hands for a center. He says that left hand of his gets on me so fast. He snaps the ball with his right hand, and that left hand he gets on me very, very quickly, and it's hard to get rid of him.
Super Bowl 25 was in Tampa.
I knew that was bothering.
Come to my rescue, will you? 3rd down and 5. They may be blitzing on this play. Esiason picks it up. Far side, Burkett. Renee Thompson made the tackle, but Burkett made a very fine catch. First down inside the 15-yard line.
Thompson had a chance to blitz that one. I mean, to pick that one off and score. I mean, I think that's what Thompson is worried about. See the big cushion? Boomer reads the blitz. Unlike Bledsoe didn't see the blitz, Boomer did. But that ball was thrown too far inside, and Thompson had a chance, and probably had a chance to pick it off and score.
Pretty good concentration by Chris Burkett. 91 was the MVP for this New York Jets team, as they now have it first down with 10:46 to go in this first half. Esiason has not missed a pass. 9 of 9. Trying to make it 10 in a row now. Over the middle, touchdown. The catch is made by the tight end, James Thornton.
I don't know if the Jets are this good or the Patriots are this bad, but either way, Boomer Esiason has done everything right. He's used 2 different tight ends. That time, James Thornton on the touchdown. He's used all his wide receivers, and he's used all his backs.
Well, James Thornton's had a serious groin injury. Did not play against Miami. His first touchdown catch of the season. Gary Blanchard's been a busy man. Makes it 28-0. So Esiason, not only is he perfect 10 of 10, he has thrown to 6 different receivers. The last one, Thornton, and Thornton on a 13-yard touchdown strike. And the Jets with a 28-0. They had the football 4 times, and they scored 4 touchdowns. 28-0. Aguiar kicking off again. Brown and Crittenden deep for the Patriots. This will be short. It's going to be Crittenden, rookie out of Virginia Tech. And Crittenden, their fastest wide receiver, that's a good return, brings it out to the 31. Let's go back, Pat, to that last touchdown toss.
Bill, it was great protection, first of all, but what happens, here is Thornton. He is the tight end. He's going to run a route in here. Now, here is the free safety now, Adrian White, that should make the play there, but is a little late getting there. And Thornton, who is not a speedster at tight end, but the ball was drilled. But that's a play that I think Adrian White, the safety, should have made. Should have knocked it away. But you're talking about a guy who's in a zone and who's concentrating. Right now, that's Boomer Esiason.
And that offensive line is really protecting the 32-year-old left-hander. From the 31, Russell gets out to the 35, a gain of 3. And Marvin Jones, their top draft pick out of Florida State, the 4th pick in the draft, up to make the stop. And we expect to see him play much more tonight. He's been backing up Kyle Clifton at middle linebacker.
Foge Fazio, the linebacker coach for the Jets, was saying we want to get Jones in the game and more involved a little bit, and when we get him in the game, we'd like to see him blitz because we think that Marvin Jones can be a very good blitzer.
There is Foge, former head coach at Pittsburgh when Dan Marino was there.
Watching Marino today on TV.
2nd down and 7. And that pass intended for Kevin Turner deflected. That was Bobby Houston, number 55, who got a hand up. The outside linebacker, a former Green Bay Packer who came over from Atlanta. And now Bledsoe is 1 of 5 for 2 yards and an interception.
Yeah, it was both Houston and I think Marvin Washington, too, number 97, the outside guy who got his big paw, left hand up there, too, as well.
So it's a 3rd down already for the Patriots. 3rd and 7. They are reeling right now. Bledsoe from the shotgun over the middle. The catch is made, and they've got the 1st down. That will bring it out to the 45-yard line. Michael Timpson, who has very good speed, makes a 10-yard catch. And just short of the 45, a new series for the Patriots.
Well, one thing when you're down 28-0, what you want to try to do is run routes where your receivers are on the move and don't have their back to the defense, so you can give a guy a chance to run with it after the catch.
Just short of the 45 come the Patriots. 9 minutes left here in this first half. 28-0, the Jets. Coach comes in motion. We're going to have an end-around reverse to Crittenden, the former soccer star at Virginia Tech, and Bobby Houston shows his speed. This guy is their fastest linebacker, and he showed it on that play.
You know, they have some very good linebackers, the Jets do. We talked about Mo Lewis as an emerging guy, and Marvin Jones was a guy that was being drafted. Houston's number 55 right there. The front of the screen, stays at home. I mean, Loggeman did a nice job of pushing the runner wide, and that gave Houston a chance to come back and make the play. But I mean, you're talking about 3 pretty good linebackers, then you're throwing Kyle Clifton, who's a steady player as well. You got a pretty good crew.
They lost 3, 2nd and 13. Bledsoe blitz up the middle. He gets rid of it, and the catch is made by Kevin Turner with about 2 yards on the play. Actually, they had a game up front. Marvin Washington, the defensive end, looped and came up the middle almost untouched on this play.
Yeah, they just didn't, the offensive line for the Patriots just didn't pick up the stunt.
Going to mark the ball just across the 43.
And I will say this about Bledsoe. We spent some time with him yesterday. He is a low-key and a confident guy. And as Ray Perkins, the offensive coordinator, was saying, you can't shake his confidence. It looks like it's going to be a long year for him. He just has to avoid the self-doubt.
3rd down and 11. They're blitzing Mo Lewis on the blitz. They pick it up for a moment, and Lewis shakes loose in the incomplete pass. Lewis fought through the block and got to Bledsoe and messed the play up.
2 linebackers coming through. Marvin Jones and Mo Lewis, 54 and 57. Again, well-timed. You know, and Lewis was picked up by Russell. And Russell's not a small back. He ran right through Russell and made a play. You see why Foch Fazio likes him as a blitzer.
Well, they've got some linebackers, Houston and Lewis and Clifton. We mentioned Marvin Jones. Low snap to Saxon, almost got it blocked. He got it underway. You gonna let it? No, Clifford Hicks did not make the fair catch call. And he dangerously brings it out to the 28-yard line. Looked like he was going to call for the fair catch, did not. 36-yard punt, and Saxon was lucky to get that one underway. 8-yard return. It's all New York. 28-0.
He was actually hit by Chris Burkett on the right leg. Should have been a roughing the punter penalty. But you know, when things are going badly, you don't get the calls like that either.
The Jets have everything going well for him. Boomer now 10 of 10 tonight. He's hit 15 straight if you go back to the last game when he completed his last 5 against the Dolphins. Blair Thomas trying to swing wide, and he'll get it out to the 35. The first 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns for this Jets team. And Boomer Esiason has just been back there just dealing the ball off, using 6 different receivers.
Thank goodness they're scoring touchdowns. Way too many field goals today and this year in the National Football League. And I think the biggest reason is people aren't running the ball well inside the 15. I mean, it's well documented while people aren't throwing the ball well down there because of all the zone. But people aren't running the ball well down there either.
Baxter and Thomas in the backfield, 2nd and 4. Baxter trying to move the pile. He won't get much. It'll bring up a 3rd down and still 3 yards to go.
You know, the Jets have to be careful of here, though, you know, with a 28-point lead, is to make sure you don't go into the prevent offense. You know, you get that 28-point lead and you go into a shell and you punt the ball and you lose the edge that you had on that got you the 28 points. We've seen it happen to a lot of teams over the years, Gary. So they've been very good because they've been aggressive, and Esiason has to stay aggressive.
I can't believe Esiason wouldn't stay aggressive. He has such a powerful personality. 3rd down conversions, 4 of 4 for the Jets. 3rd down and a long yard to go. Pat Chafee, and Chafee's got the first down across the 40 to the 41. He had a 20-yard touchdown catch in that win over Miami a couple of weeks ago. Out of Oregon State, a very reliable fullback. Take a look at today's NFL action on the Russell Athletics scoreboard. And the Lions defeating the Cardinals as Andre Ware, maybe the new Andre Ware era, has begun for Detroit.
Well done, Gary. A lot of field goals in that game.
Neil Anderson looked like the Anderson of old.
Yeah, only 100-yard rusher today.
And the Saints with that deadly weapon of Anderson winning again. 5 minutes to go, first half. First down. Esiason with that play action, wide open is Burkett. First down catch to the 37. All kinds of time to throw. The play action again setting it up, and ends up being a 22-yard gain on the play. Other scores, the Rams, Jim Everett, who is getting a lot of heat out in your part of the country. And Seattle's won 2 in a row now. Esiason 11 of 11 now for 134 yards. And Miami, for the 2nd year in a row, went into Rich Stadium and defeated the Buffalo Bills. And that's our game next Sunday, the Bills against the Giants, who are off this week and 3-0. And, of course, we'll see Phil Simms not on the stadium show that week. Hand off to Blair Thomas. Nice change of direction. A couple of yards on the play. Chris Slade over to make the stop, number 53.
Really. They're hoping for a lot more production out of Blair Thomas, Gary. You were mentioning it earlier, and really out of their entire running game. And one of the things that Blair Thomas can do is really cut back across the grain. Now, what they're hoping that he'll do is be patient more with the hole sometimes and get those 4 yards when they're there. But when you have an opportunity to get outside like he did there, you take it.
Johnny Rowland, the backfield coach for the Jets, is just trying to get this guy more confident. Been pumping his confidence up all year long. 2nd down and 8. Here he goes again. Breaks 1 tackle. Takes it inside the 30. Slade again on the stop. Number 53, Chris Slade, out of Virginia. Their 2nd-round draft pick, has 5 sacks coming into the ball game. He has been relentless. They love the future of this man.
Well, he was saying just the other day, you know, when I was 8 years old, he said, my father said, don't ever stand around on a football field. And you talk about being relentless, and that's what Bill Parcells was saying about him. He said he has one trait in common with Lawrence Taylor. Maybe not a lot of others, but one. He is relentless. He does not stop.
5 sacks. Only Anthony Smith of the Raiders had more in the AFC. Third down and 3. Sison completes it again. Rob Moore tackled there. We've been told that Joe Montana holds a record for consecutive completions over 2 games of 22. And Esiason now is 12 of 12 tonight. He's got a ways to go yet.
Yeah. Well, Ken O'Brien holds the Jet record, I think, at 17. But, you know, what you have is a confident quarterback in here when the NFL is really about confidence and quarterback play. And the Jets right now have a guy who's playing with a lot of confidence and sharing that confidence with his team.
Going to hold up play momentarily here. We have a 1st down at the 25-yard line.
You know, the amazing thing, Gary, is the Jets really didn't take much of a chance on Boomer Esiason. When you think about it, they just gave up a 3rd-round pick.
Well, there's also in that a conditional pick coming up, depending on how much he plays. But you're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
You know, I don't care if you have to give up a number 1 for him. Right now, he's been worth it thus far in 3 games.
From the 25-yard line, 1st down, Johnny Johnson in the backfield. Thornton caught the touchdown pass earlier, comes in motion. Johnny Johnson inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. Johnny Johnson has raw ability. He just has an attitude sometimes that bears watching. He struggled sometimes in Phoenix. There's no question about his athleticism. We have the 2-minute warning. 28-0, the Jets. Blimp giving us the view of the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Goodyear Blimp Spirit is based in Akron, Ohio. 2-minute warning has just been completed. 28-0. The Jets are in the red zone for the 5th time, meaning the 20 in. The previous 4 times they've scored touchdowns.
And the reason they're leading 28-0 is the Patriots defense has not put any pressure on Boomer Esiason, Gary. I mean, they can't let him sit back there. They're going to have to blitz him when he's throwing the ball. Otherwise, it's going to be good night, Irene. Maybe already. 2nd
down and 2 now. Johnny Johnson in the backfield. Thornton in motion. Play action. End around. Reverse to Terrence Mathis. Mathis to the 10. 5. Touchdown. Jets.
How about the block by Dwayne White? Love to see those road graders out there.
Good night, Irene, now, don't you think?
Good night, Irene. Dwayne White, 315 pounds.
Five times they've had the football. 5 touchdowns, a 17-yard end around reverse by Terrence Mathis.
They have found the problem, the way to score inside the 20. It's play the Pats.
Wow, and remember they were 3 of 3 in the red zone 2 weeks ago against Miami. 35-0, the Jets.
Dwayne White, the road grader. I mean, he's a big body. They can get out in front of you and clear for your wide receivers to get in the end zone. They do the dancing, and White does the blocking. The subtle things lead to the big things. The play fakes by Boomer Esiason have really set plays like this up. But he's been doing that his entire career. He's the best at the play fake.
35 points, the most by the Jets since '91 when they scored 41 against Miami. Bringing it out, Ray Crittenden. Crittenden gets a little alley and out to the 25 and knocked out of bounds there. Coming up at halftime, the Fruit of the Loom halftime report with Bob Neal and Kevin Kiley. Scores and highlights. An analysis from Phil Simms, who must be feeling some pain for his former coach, Bill Parcells.
Yeah, Phil Simms, is, in my estimation, is the toughest, quarterback in the NFL. A guy that's just hung in there a game in and game out, year in, year out. I mean, once he starts bleeding, look out, because that's when he's going to start throwing touchdowns.
Well, he's revived the Giants along with Dan Reeves. They're 3-0 heading into next week in our game against Buffalo. Bledsoe and the interior receiver Ben Coates. That'll be pass interference. Clifford Hicks over there draped all over him. Coates has had a very good early part of the season. He has had 2 touchdown catches, and Hicks went over the top of him. And that's tough to do because Coates is huge. He's 6'5", weighs 245 pounds.
I mean, right now, Drew Bledsoe is looking for anything to feel good about. I mean, his team is down 35-0, but these are the times, though, Gary, where I think your team finds out something about you. The Patriots are not going to win this game, but do they have a quarterback that'll hang in there and play the whole game and stay tough and not give up? I mean, that's what he has to be thinking about, how his teammates are going to think about him in the years ahead.
He's 3 of 8 thus far, and he completes his 4th pass of the night. Michael Timpson coming across the middle, makes the catch at the 35. Gain of a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now. So Bledsoe growing up in a hurry here in the National Football League. He started opening day. Coates, that big targeted tight end, has it out at the 40. Going to be a yard short of the 1st down. 3rd down coming up. You see the time, less than 1:20 left to go in the 1st half. And Parcells is probably thinking, I've got another half.
Yeah. Well, he's not frustrated because he understands the process of rebuilding the team. He already did it once with the Giants.
He knew he would instantly turn this club around. Bledsoe needs 2 yards and doesn't get it as he goes further up the field. McMurtry incomplete at the 50-yard line. 4th down coming up. Well, the first year Bill Parcells coached the Giants, they were 3-12-1. So he's been in this precarious situation before.
Yeah, but in the 2nd year, he was a playoff year. And then he won the Super Bowl 4 years later. And that's, he's got a tall task here with the Patriots. But I think, Gary, with free agency, he has a chance to build a team faster than he did with the Giants. The issue there is, hey, will his new owner allow him to do that?
On a 4th down, Saxon gets this one underway, hits it very well. They're going to let it hit. And that ball has Renee Thompson watching it. He almost let it get in the end zone and downs it at the 1. Thompson, who Bill Parcells says is the finest special teams player he's ever coached. That ends up being a 58-yard punt. And that gives us an opportunity to remind you that tonight after the NFL, the streets of L.A. are in danger of an underworld war. And it's up to Charles Bronson to prevent a massacre. The Stone Killer follows the Holiday Inn Stadium show on TNT.
Go Chuck.
Charles Bronson. He's been, what, a good safety, you think?
No, well, strong safety, maybe middle linebacker. I mean, he's a guy you put in on short yardage goal line, too.
So the Jets, who have had the ball 5 times and scored 5 touchdowns, have scored the most points in a half since 1985. 41 points against Tampa Bay. We're going to have to hurry to do that maybe here, so it could be worse. 47 seconds left in the half. Casey carrying the ball, trying to wedge it out to the 4-yard line.
Well, a confident quarterback finds his rhythm early in the game, or if he doesn't get discouraged. Boomer Esiason, we've talked about his confidence. He found his rhythm from his very first pass, and the Patriots have not been able to get him out of rhythm.
Well, he's 12 of 12, 139 yards. Bruce Consulate was, of course, his offensive coordinator when he was in Cincinnati. He's got a better offensive line. And that's a real marriage, isn't it, between Consulate and Esiason. Safety in the backfield on a 2nd down and 7. They're going to take the last snap of the 1st half. And that'll bring it to a close. And the Patriots will try to regroup. Shafee looks like he's hurt as he was slammed back into the end zone.
In a meaningless play, you get a guy injured.
Well, it wasn't a meaningless 1st half as far as Bruce Consulate is concerned. The Jets 5 times marched in for touchdowns on the first 5 possessions. This is the only drive they did not get it into the end zone. And let's look at how Chafee got hurt. Oh, he bent that leg backwards. So Chafee hurt. That's the only blight on the first half as far as the Jets are concerned. The Fruit of the Loom halftime show coming up. Bob Neal and Kevin Kiley. 35-0 New York.
Phase.
Patriots here in a sellout in the middle. He will not return in the second half of this game. And here is tonight's Lose Sight game summary. And it's all New York Jets, not only on the scoreboard. Look at the numbers: total yards, passing yards, and of course that number that the Patriots lead in, they don't want to.
You know, the turnovers. I mean, they really haven't, let's be honest, they haven't done anything well. I mean, they haven't stopped Boomer Esiason. They haven't been effective on offense. Boy,
this is a real character check as far as the Patriots are concerned.
Well, you learn something about your team. You really do. And particularly your young quarterback, Gary.
So Crittenden along with Brown back deep. Aguiar, who's got a lot of work as far as the kickoffs are concerned, will kick off. Underway, second half for the Meadowlands. Crittenden inside the 5 will bring it out. This guy is very fast out to the 30 and to the 33. He's made 2 very good returns on kickoffs.
You know, Gary, the worst thing you can say about an athlete is that he quits. And I don't think I've ever seen a Bill Parcells team, even that first year when they had a rough go, ever quit. And I don't think you're going to see these guys. And I know Drew Bledsoe, who was in some rough situations in Washington State a year ago.
I couldn't agree with you more. Bill Parcells, who won 2 Super Bowl championships with the Giants. He struggled the first year, and it's not going to happen overnight for this franchise. But they have some stability and credibility with the man who's 52 years old. Bledsoe, timing pass. Coates makes the catch. Very fine catch. The ball is loose, and now they're saying it's incomplete. And Coates is down, getting up very slowly. He took a real shot at the 45. Looked like he was going to be able to hang on to that. Very well thrown by Bledsoe.
Yeah, well thrown. It was a good route by Coates, but terrific. Number 55, Houston, does a great job of covering. Now, Houston's a strong side linebacker. He's not supposed to have that kind of speed. Looked like a catch to me.
Oh, I think so, yeah. Pat. He had that more than one stride. Look at this.
That's a catch. That's a catch.
And I think it was down by contact, too.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a break all evening.
Boy, it is a long night here for the Patriots. When they make a play, they don't get it. Handoff now to Corey Kroom. He's a rookie, a free agent find out of Ball State, who jumped out at him in practice in the preseason camp, and now getting some playing time instead of Leonard Russell as they start the second half.
Yeah, Parcells was saying about Kroom yesterday to us that, you know, every training camp you have one guy who comes in and kind of surprises you and stands out, makes a play every day. And that's what Corey Kroom did for the Patriots in their training camp.
Gain maybe a half yard. It'll be third down coming up. Bledsoe from the shotgun. Blitz is coming. Marcus Turner's got him, and Bledsoe spun down inside the 25-yard line. 3rd sack of the night for the Jets. Marcus Turner was untouched. Loss of 9 on the play. Back to the 25 is where they're going to mark it.
Okay, here, both guys are going to blitz down here. You're going to see Turner and Hicks. Now the tackle drops back in coverage to fill that zone where they drop off. It's Hicks, and then number 23 is Turner.
Ooh. Saxon has somebody in his face. Had somebody rob Carpenter. He gets it underway. The catch is made by Clifford Hicks, and here comes a return, and he is nailed as he gets to the 45. Very good job that time. Coming up with it was Chris Gannon, number 91, who snaps the ball. 40-yard punt, 9-yard return, and the ball just short of the 45. And Esiason will continue starting this second half at 12 for 12. And the record, as we mentioned, is Joe Montana, 22 in a row. Of course, that again goes over the space of 2 games.
There's a guy we're probably going to get a chance to see on tonight, Brownie Nagel, as he's putting on, well, he almost put the rally cap on there and then decided against it.
They don't need to rally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Rally from ahead.
So Esiason has 17 in a row if you want to go back to the game against Miami.
Okay.
Let's do it. 45 45, Baxter. Baxter getting a couple of yards out to the 47-yard line. John Washington, 76, getting up. Here's the guy who played for Bill when the Giants were moving on to the Super Bowl. Look at those first 5 possessions.
Well, what I love about it is the touchdowns. I mean, we saw so many field goals today in this entire NFL season. 39 field. I hate field goals.
You and Alex Karras, right?
No, really. I mean, the kickers play less than 1% of the game, and they're deciding too many games.
He's calling to see if he can go back to Walla Walla, Washington. He doesn't like what's going on out here. Second down, 9 yards to go. Burkett comes in motion. Blair Thomas with the ball. Scoots to the 45 and is nailed there. He may have the first down. Adrian White came after him and popped him very, very hard. And let's see if he got the first down.
Yeah, I don't care if the score is 35-0 or not. People are still hitting out there.
Ooh.
It's Adrian White, and I think it was Barnett.
Arlen Barnett, who's the guy who they picked up. He was cut on August 31st from the Cleveland Browns. And what was the coaches said? He is not a backup guy.
Yeah.
They think he's a starter all the way. So they have a safety they got by free agency. First down. It was a first down to the 45. Dyson over the middle. Burkett having a big night, makes the catch. That'll be another first down to the 32-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup.
You know, as I was watching Boomer Esiason there, Gary, you know, if you were going to go into the laboratory and design a quarterback, a guy that looks like one and acts like one, I mean, out of the laboratory would come Boomer Esiason. I mean, the guy's got the size. He's 6'5", he's 220, he's been successful, and he carries himself like a leader. And when he does that, you have players like Burkett going for the little extra yardage there. I mean, I think he really has his team feeling very good about themselves.
18 in a row now for Esiason.
Incredible how you can keep track like that, Gary.
And of course, over 2 games, here's Johnny Johnson trying to go wide, and he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Roger Ryler, a statistician, keeping us on track on the streak that Boomer Esiason has. One thing about Boomer Esiason is he spends a lot of time not just with the quarterbacks and the running backs, but during the week they go over to Dave Cadigan's house, one of the offensive guards, and they sit around and chew the fat and get some things resolved.
Every Thursday night over Cadigan's house. And you know, Gary, I think it's hard for a lot of NFL quarterbacks to be one of the guys. But if you're a lineman, I think one of the redeeming qualities Esiason has is that indeed he is one of the guys. He acts like it. It's not a put on with Esiason. He likes being around offensive linemen.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 now for the Jets. Johnny Johnson in the backfield. He'll get the football. And Johnson short of the 30, stopped at the 31. It'll be a 3rd down. Vincent Brown, we haven't called his number very much. This is the guy that Parcells feels could be his Harry Carson, like he had when he was with the Giants.
Well, Vincent Brown last year was a run guy on a 1st and then 2nd down. When they came in and looked at all their defensive tape, they said, hey, we have to get Vincent Brown on the field every play. So now he plays in their nickel and their dime situations. And, you know, he was talking about Boomer, too, and he said, you know, the Jets are running the same plays. They're just running them a heck of a lot better with Boomer Esiason.
Number 7 makes it go. Look at this. 6 of 6 on 3rd downs tonight. Esiason. That'll be 19 in a row, and Rob Moore with a touchdown. But wait a minute, there's a penalty flag. That's a 31-yard pass for a touchdown if it stands.
That's way too open for the National Football League.
Oh.
I mean, you're not supposed to get that wide open.
They're going to bring it back. Maybe the only way you can stop Boomer Esiason is by penalty. You're right, though. Who in the world was responsible for Rob Moore? Nobody was within 10 yards of him.
Well, you know, the formation by the offense. It's only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's the first mistake they've made.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough guys up on the line of scrimmage.
Rob Moore's right there in the slot. Now he runs by the strong safety right there. The free safety has to make that play. I don't know where he is, but he's not anywhere near the ball. But if your strong safety is rolled up into the short zone, the free safety has to take any of those deep throws, but he wasn't anywhere near Rob Moore.
So it's 3rd and 15 rather than a 31-yard touchdown pass. Baxter and Johnny Johnson in the backfield. pass it all kinds of times, and he let him too much. He had all kinds of protection, tried to hit Baxter in the flat, and they're going to have to actually punt the football.
Well, their punter will now get a letter.
And that punter is Louis Aguiar, who's been very busy kicking off tonight. So that's his first incomplete pass. 13 in a row. And wait a minute, Blanchard's going to come in and attempt the field goal. This is going to be a 53, almost a 54-yard attempt. Now, they say this guy can kick him 60 yards. He has in practice. 3 of 3 this year. This will be 53 officially. And Blanchard gets into it. It's no good. Corey Blanchard, who came over last year from the New Orleans Saints, a former Oklahoma State standout, misses. It's still 35-0 New York. A young lady, Peter Lasser's daughter, Betsy. I told her that sunflower in the front is the state flower of Kansas, which is a weed.
Yeah, well, she was not interested, and neither was I, and none of the viewers. That's good, though, Gary. There's old Betsy. What a precocious and nice little girl.
Yeah, she really is. She even bought breakfast for me today.
Who doesn't, Gary? That's everybody in the crew now.
First down from the 36. And we got some movement. Leonard Marshall stepped across. Bledsoe 5 of 12, 23 yards. He threw the interception to Loggeman, you might recall. He needs to have some success here tonight, as does his teammates.
Well, Gary,
Encroachment by the defense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
3 other #1 draft picks playing as quarterback have won Super Bowls. I mean, Terry Bradshaw, Jim Plunkett did it, and Troy Aikman did it. Now, the Patriots are clearly a long way from a Super Bowl. But if they can get some help next year in the draft and in free agency, and they're playing themselves into the #1 draft pick again, they can get this thing turned around with Parcells. He has a method, and he did it once before.
Well, they said there's some talent in the skill positions offensively. The problems come on the defense, and that's been proved here tonight. McMurtry comes in motion. First down and 5. Bledsoe trying to set up and have time. And McMurtry, the intended receiver, and Eric Thomas has made 2 splendid plays in this game. Remember the one way back at the start of the game, bats away a ball again.
Eric Thomas and Ronnie Lott have added a lot to the secondary of this Jet team. I mean, you have a guy man for man. You have a pretty good player in McMurtry. But not only do you run with them, you get the hand up just in time and you strip it away from them. And that is a perfectly timed play by Eric Thomas. Seen it twice tonight.
Question you got to ask, Pat, how good are the Jets? They defeated Miami, who defeated Buffalo today. Here is Leonard Russell trying to run wide, and Marvin Jones, their top draft pick, knocked him out of bounds.
Who defeated Dallas, so they're as good as anybody, I guess, right?
You took that a little too far, maybe.
Absolutely.
But you do wonder, and you look at this AFC East, we could have a 4-way tie for first place at 2-1 if the Jets win this one, which I think is a pretty sure thing.
You look at the AFC East and the AFC West, you have some great football being played early in the year. I mean, in the AFC East too, what we found so far is you have a division of some pretty good quarterbacks, and perhaps one in Drew Bledsoe that's coming on.
Third down now, 6 yards to go. McMurtry comes in motion again. Bledsoe backing up, throwing off his back feet because he had pressure coming. That was Ronnie Lott on the blitz. Messed up the play. The Jets are going to get the football.
See, Ronnie Lott's not playing like it's 35-0. I mean, he's up there. He is high-fiving. He is slapping his teammates. He's realizing, hey, I just made the quarterback throw the ball away, and now they have to punt. I mean, you talk about a guy that's really added an attitude to this team. He's one of them.
Well, he wants to uphold his reputation. In other words, flying around, hitting people, make you look around. And he's done that tonight. Saxon hit that one off the side of his foot. Hicks lets it hit, and it takes a Patriot bounce. And they're going to mark the ball at the 9-yard line. That ends up being a 50-yard punt. Didn't really hit it all that well, but very successful. And at the 9 now, it's where they'll start this. Bruce Conklin and how his team struggled last year, 4-12, a disaster season. But right now, his team well on their way to their second win. As Bill Parcells, his team 0-3 coming in here as the Jets set up at the 9-yard line. Blair Thomas, the running back. Thomas trying to go wide. Pretty good reaction that time. Aaron Jones is one of the first to get there, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. Well, it has not been a good decade of the 90s as far as the Patriots are concerned. We're going to call it the nasty 90s.
Yeah, you know, there's not really a lot to build on there. And, you know, they had a couple of chances to win in the second and third game. I'm talking about the Patriots. They lost those games by field goals.
Yep.
Their field goal last week was hit the crossbar, the 54-yard attempt. Had a chance to win, but tonight they just haven't done anything right.
I tell you, this is the kind of homecoming they're going to give you. Bill Parcells just soon never come back.
Yeah.
Second down and 9 from the 10-yard line. Thomas again. The quick feet makes it out to the 13, and here comes a late flag after the play is over.
Gary, I was watching the Ryder Cup today, and, you know, if this were the Ryder Cup, this match would have been conceded at this point.
Does that mean we can go home now, or what?
No.
I could bring up a little thing you said a year ago in the Houston-Buffalo game. Not on our air, but somebody else's air.
I didn't think Buffalo would come back. They always remind me of it.
On the offense, number 62.
Including me.
The penalty is declined, brings up third down.
They decline the penalty, so it'll bring up a third down. Next week, we'll be in Rich Stadium. I hope the weather's a little better than it was today.
Boy.
Did you see that wind again?
Yes.
The rain, and of course the Bills losing 2 times in a row to the Buffalo Bills. Losing last year up there as well this year. They'll play host to the unbeaten Giants. Dan Reeves' team playing very well. Third down, 6 yards to go. It again. A lot of time, gets rid of it, and the ball is going to be ruled incomplete. Johnny Mitchell, the tight end, had it for a moment. Again, Esiason had a lot of time to wait for the tight end to clear over the middle.
And that's the reason, Gary, they're up 35-0. I mean, they really, the Patriots have not been able to put any pressure on Boomer Esiason. And, you know, we were talking with Parcells yesterday. You really got the feeling that he was going to come after Boomer. He was really going to blitz him because he was the first to say, you can't let him sit back there and get comfortable. And we said, we're not a good rush team, so we're going to have to bring some people.
Well, you can bring them and they don't get there sometimes, too. And that's part of the problem. As Aguiar back to punt the football. 7:56 left in the third quarter. 35-0 the Jets. Scored all the 35 points in the first half. Aguiar hits it very high to the near side. Troy Brown comes over and fields it out of bounds. They're going to mark the ball at the 49-yard line of the Jets. There ends up being a 36-yard punt. So Drew Bledsoe trying somehow to get his Patriots on the scoreboard. Miami, Buffalo, and Indianapolis at 2-1, and the Jets trying to make it a 4-way tie for first. And what a race it's going to be. Of course, Buffalo will have them next week when they play host to the Giants, but only these Patriots haven't picked up a win in the AFC East.
Well, you know, this is going to be a great AFC East race. I think the entire year is going to come down to that last weekend, because what you have is you have some players who played the position as well as anybody when you think of Dan Marino. I mean, the division has been dominated by Dan Marino for so long, and the Bills for the last 3 years. But you have some teams on the rise. Certainly the Jets look like they could be one of those teams, Gary.
Well, remember 2 years ago, they made it as a wild card team. They won 8-8 under Bruce Kozlik. And they thought they were on their way, and then all the injuries to Dennis Byrd, the unfortunate neck injury to Byrd. Lagerman got hurt. Browning Nagel wasn't quite ready to take over quarterback. And here is Drew Bledsoe continuing as we start from the 49 of the Jets. 7:49 left in the third. Bledsoe comes out and completes the pass to Greg McMurtry. And McMurtry has a first down inside the 30-yard line. 19-yard gain.
And Gary, I think Bill Parcells has to hang in there with Drew Bledsoe. I mean, this is not a game where I think you yank a young quarterback like that, because on every play you learn something in the NFL when you're going through that journey. And when you get some protection like that, he can deliver the ball. He's got the physical tools, but we talked about it being a process, Gary, and a journey, and that's what this second half will be for Drew Bledsoe, part of that journey.
First down just across the 30. Bledsoe over the middle. Ben Coates inside the 10. The ball comes loose. Now is it ruled complete? No. Incomplete. That's twice now. Coates has come down. One time it clearly was a catch. This time he didn't hang on.
Well, I'll tell you, Ronnie Lott was over there making him think about the catch, I promise you.
He makes you look around, doesn't he? Get a head on a swivel if you're not careful.
Well, this was nice touch here by Bledsoe. I mean, he looked off. Washington makes it and throw it over him. I thought that was a catch and a fumble. I mean, it looks like a catch and a fumble, really.
So that's 2 of them that you had to wonder about on Ben Coates. 2nd down, 10 now. Leonard Russell has returned to the running back spot. Bledsoe, a little nervous back there, got rid of it. He had those nervous little tendencies back there, shaking the ball, patting it, waiting for somebody to clear, and finally just threw it away.
That looks like you when you're afraid you might get the dinner check.
Well, you just get up and leave then. But right now, you got to look at it this way. Bill Parcells in the second half has played the team.
Yeah.
Even Steven, nothing. After getting down 35-0 in the first half.
You know, it's a mellow Bill Parcells. I mean, you know, he's a fiery kind of guy with the Giants, but he realizes what all his players and team has to go through. And he's going to be patient with them.
And it's being tested tonight. On a 3rd down and 10. Bledsoe to McMurtry. That won't be enough for the first down. He is stopped short. He needed to get across the 20-yard line. Pretty good hit that time. Coming over, it was Ronnie Lott again, and Lott just continues to pound you.
Yeah, if you follow Ronnie Lott enough, you're going to see some collisions. And, you know, Brian Washington, the strong safety, says if you don't learn from having Ronnie Lott on your team, you're either selfish or stupid. But he says, but I'm learning from Ronnie Lott.
The Patriots on 4th down are going to go for it. 4th and 2. They are 4 of 5 on 4th down conversions this season. Dumps it off to Leonard Russell. Brian Washington stops him short, and the Jets will take over. Brian Washington and Ronnie Lott give the Jets 2 hard-hitting, fast-moving safeties. They've really come up with 2 guys who are going to cause a lot of problems this year for opposing offenses. So the Patriots on 4th down don't get it. We'll be back.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. Back to Giants Stadium in just a second. First, it's time for the Isuzu Play of the Day, and it comes from the Bucs-Bears game at Soldier Field in Chicago. Tampa Bay's Craig Erickson with the Hail Mary just throws that thing downfield, and Lamar Thomas, the rookie 3rd-round pick, right there to scoop it up and score for the Bucs. That's the Isuzu Practically Amazing Play of the Day. Now back to Gary and Pat.
Ernie, that was amazing, not just practically amazing. The Big Ben play, if you will. Here is Blair Thomas on a 1st down, a flag on the play as he comes out to the 32-yard line. Rod Smith over to make the stop. It'll be holding against the Jets.
It's been a miserable day for Bill Parcells and the Patriots.
Holding on the offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Yeah, there's old Bill, and, you know, down by 35 points. What are you thinking about? You got the Pepto-Bismol, you got the Maalox, you got the double strength job in there.
You don't want to mix those, though, do you?
No. I mean, he's going to need some of that NyQuil tonight, too. And
his wife, Judy, when he comes home tonight, he won't be going to bed right away. He'll be up all night, probably replaying some of this, knowing how competitive he is. 1st and 20 now from the 14-yard line after the holding call. Esiason dumps it off to Johnny Johnson, and he runs through some people.
Yeah.
He gets out across the 27. He's still going to be short of the 1st down, but he got a lot of that penalty yardage back. 14-yard gain.
Well, Gary, you know, you aren't going to win every game in the National Football League, you know, but you just hate to prove it in the first 4. You know, that's the problem the Patriots find themselves in. You okay?
I'm okay. Well, this will be 9 losses in a row for the Patriots going back to last year, and we mentioned they'd won only 14 games in the last 4 years, and to rebuild a franchise takes some perseverance and some nights like this. And Bill hopefully can look back and say, do you remember the nights in the Meadowlands?
Well, he had some of these that first year with the Giants.
2nd down, 6 yards to go. That forward wall getting a little tougher now for the Patriots, and they have acquitted themselves much more effectively in the second half. inside 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
This is a game that Bruce Coslett is thinking, hey, you know, we've got this thing won. Let's not play sloppily in the second half. Let's finish the game on a high note, and please let's not get anybody hurt.
Well, that's my question. How long do you go with Boomer Esiason?
I think there's 4:30 left in the third quarter. I think you let him go the rest of the third quarter, and then you bring in Brownie Nagel.
3rd down and 4 now for the men in green. Burkett split to the top. To the near side is Rob Moore. Flag on the play. Esiason on the pass to the flat. Johnny Johnson has the first down if this does not come back. Darrell Wren over to make the tackle for the Patriots.
Turnover on the Jets sideline. We saw what was on the Patriots sideline. That was the Pepto-Bismol. But over here you get a little technology. Now, George Halas didn't have these kind of things, Gary. But you look at this and you get these guys to look at it. And,
how much is that on the Richter scale?
You know, when the game is close, the coaches look at it. When you have a 35-point lead, you just kind of put it on the table and nobody looks at it.
Quit taking pictures, right?
There was no foul on the play. 62 had left the field and legally returned to his normal position. It's a first down.
Gary, you know what I like about Boomer Esiason's throws on these swing passes, too, to Johnny Johnson. He's throwing a number of them tonight. He's getting them right out in front of Johnson so that he doesn't have to adjust to the ball at all, and rather he can catch it and keep his momentum going and pick up a first down as he did right there.
I don't think I've seen anything tonight I haven't liked about Boomer. 15 of 17, 173 yards. Johnson again. Johnny Johnson trying to fight forward for a couple of yards, being shoved back by the interior, especially Chris Slade. And I'll say this for the Patriots right now. They're down 35-0 at half. They've come out in this third quarter and they have fought.
That's a Bill Parcells team, though. There's no quitting these guys. And Chris Slade is going to be a player in this league, a very good one. Bill Parcells, well, his teams have never quit on him. Again, you said they haven't done it here in the second half.
3:30 left in this third quarter. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go for New York. Adrian Morrell, the very impressive rookie, now in the running back field. He's going to get the football. And Morrell showing that quickness across the 40 to the 43. What was it? We were talking to the Jets coaches, and they said, this guy can take it to the house. In other words, he has some speed.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that expression. I never heard that before.
And he's a different kind of runner for them. I mean, you have Blair Thomas, who's, you know, get you 4 yards, and that's kind of his career average. And Johnny Johnson is a power guy, can run the routes out of the backfield. But Morrell, they're hoping he's the kind of back that can get him those 15, 20, 25-yard runs.
Going to be 3rd down and 2 now for the Jets as we approach 2.5 minutes to go. You can see on 3rd downs they've been very effective. Morrell comes in motion again. Esiason over the middle and incomplete. Pretty good coverage that time. That was Todd Collins, the inside linebacker, number 54, who stayed with Rob Moore. He came on in the 4th quarter last week against Seattle, played 15 plays, had 8 tackles and an interception.
What happened on the other 6?
I can't remember. But they are hoping that this guy can stay healthy because he was a 3rd-round draft pick out of Carson Newman. But he's always, as the coaches said, been in bandages. Aguiar to punt the football. Very high. Troy Brown calling for the fair catch, but he's 10 yards away from us. It goes out of bounds. Aguiar very good at putting the ball inside the 20. This time way short of it. In fact, coming into the night on 6 punts, he'd put 5 of them inside the 20. Some tempers flaring here on the near sideline. Patriots will have the football. 2:22 to go in the third quarter. 35-0, the Jets with all those points in the first half. Says for Drew Bledsoe, who comes back in with 2:22 to go in the third quarter. He's 8 of 19, 49 yards and an interception. The last series, though, he was getting a little better protection and started to open up the offense a little bit.
You know, we're talking a bunch of the Jet players about Bledsoe, and Kyle Clifton, the middle linebacker for the Jets, was saying to us yesterday, you know, he sure doesn't look like and play like a rookie. You know, he kind of hangs it in the pocket. He doesn't get too concerned about the rush. He's always focused downfield.
Ben Coates will come in motion to the near side. Bledsoe makes the connection. That is Michael Timpson, very close to the first down. Timpson over the middle. He had a 24-yard catch last week against Seattle. This guy was in the Olympic trials for the 200 meters. And let's see, did he get the first down, or is he just short? It's going to be a first down.
Well, you know, Gary, we were talking about it just a few moments ago, but the Parcells is happy with the receivers. You know, those skill positions. He's still, Leonard Russell as a running back is still a question mark for him. But he's really worried about his defense and his defensive line in particular.
He'd like to get Leonard Russell cranked up over the middle. That ball is caught. Nice catch that time by the tight end Marv Cook. I think that's Cook. Yes, it is. His first catch of the night on the deflection. That's a 17-yard grab by the two-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, good concentration, because that ball was tipped, I think, by Ronnie Lott, number 42, the free safety. And Lott gets in there, but he stays with it.
Well, that's good concentration.
Yeah, that's a heck of a play.
They say in practice, anytime the ball's thrown to him, his concentration is superb, and there's a good example of it. Stayed with it. First down from the 41. Up the middle comes the blitz. Bledsoe steps away, throws one up in the air. Almost got that one broken up beautifully. Coming back on the play was James Hasty. But that was quite a throw by Bledsoe. Had somebody in his face and showed the kind of arm he has.
You know, for a big guy, and he is big, he's 6'5", he does have a quick release. And he really let this one fly. But watch James Hasty, number 40, who he knows exactly where the ball is, has a good feel for where the receiver is, and then just tips it away. I mean, we've seen Eric Thomas do it twice on the other side, and now James Hasty.
They have covered him so well, but Bledsoe now has hit 4 of his last 5 and a near miss there. 8 of 19 for the night. 2nd and 10. McMurtry comes in motion. Bledsoe throwing the far side, and the catch will be made again by Marv Cook. He'll be just short of the 35-yard line. And the clock continues to run now with 55 seconds left in the third. It'll be 3rd down now and still 5 yards to go. Above the Meadowlands, a very familiar sight. The Goodyear blimp. Goodyear is overhead providing our aerial views. A little foggy, rain earlier. We were not sure we were going to have the blimp earlier today. And the view of the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey. On a 3rd and 5. Bledsoe double pumping, throws that in the crowd and almost had the connection made. Ronnie Lott defending on the play. The intended receiver was the big tight end Ben Coates, but 3 green jerseys were around him.
Well, we've seen Bledsoe throw a lot of different types of passes though tonight, and you know, Bill Parcells said about Bledsoe when he was trying to decide between Bledsoe and Rick Meyer, you know, I watched every single pass, both of them through their senior years. And he said, I chose Bledsoe because I think he can throw all the kind of passes. I like his size, he can throw them all.
And on 4th down and 5, they're going to go for it. 2nd time tonight on 4th down. They've tried to pick it up. The blitz coming, they pick it up. Ben Coates can't hang on. And that'll bring up the Jets with the football with 17 seconds left in the quarter.
So he doesn't have that, you know, deer in the headlights look about him.
No, you're right. That's a very good point. I mean, he is such a low-key guy. We were interviewing him yesterday. He comes in and he's just so nonchalant, so laid back. I don't think I've ever been around a quarterback that laid back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was awake there for a while, but I understand that around you, Gary. But I mean, he was reading the magazine.
Your boring personality brought it on, Pat. I mean, let's get real here. This should be the last play of this 3rd quarter. Boomer Esiason continues at quarterback. Off to Johnson. Johnson stumbles forward to the line of scrimmage. That was Vincent Brown, 59, who knifed him down there. And so we've come to the end of 3 here in the Meadowlands. So a scoreless 3rd quarter. after the Jets had jumped out to a 35-0 halftime lead. Overhead from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, the Jets with a 35-0 lead. Gary Bender, Pat Hayden, and Boomer Esiason, Pat, starting this fourth quarter on a 2nd down and 10.
I'm actually surprised he's in starting the fourth quarter. I mean, they're not going to lose this game. Brownie Nagel is an experienced player. I say get Boomer out of there. I mean, it's a long, brutal season for a quarterback. And boy, you know, we've already seen one unfortunate injury to Pat Chafee at the end of the first half. You'd hate to have it happen to Boomer.
He had a sprained knee out for the game. Nagel started 13 games last year for the Jets. Esiason, play action, gets rid of it quickly. Complete to Thornton, the tight end. Tell you, Esiason shows you his experience there. He had the blitz coming, looked up at a big man in his face, and still got rid of the ball.
Well, you know, the good thing about a well-designed offense, even when you have a blitz on, you have somebody that you can get rid of the ball to quickly. And he did right there. I mean, the play action fake again. Now he's got the outside linebacker blitzer, nobody picking him up, but he has a receiver short right there in the flat, so even with the blitzer coming, you still have somewhere to get rid of it.
That was Jason Carthen out of Ohio University. They picked up from the Bills by free agency, who was in his face. Gain of 8, 3rd and 2. Johnny Johnson trying to get that first down, spins and gets it.
Man.
And a flag comes in. Very nice spinning move that time by Johnson, the former 7th-round draft pick of the Cardinals, who went to the Pro Bowl his rookie year when he gained over 900 yards. It's going to be holding, though. That'll bring it back.
Johnson, one of those guys who's capable of helping this Jet team in several different ways. Primarily, though, I think, is that guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield, run routes. I mean, he's done it tonight.
On the offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
That's Dave Cadigan. Now, last year, the Jets really had a lot of trouble that left side of the line penalty-wise. Jeff Criswell, Dave Cadigan, they called them the penalty pals. But they've done a much better job this year cutting the penalties down.
Well, I'll flip it over. The one thing New England has done well tonight, only 1 penalty tonight for New England. And I believe a year ago, I mean, they had, I think, over 1,000 yards.
Most penalized team,
yeah. 111 penalties, over 1,000 yards, but only 1 tonight.
3rd down and 12 after the penalty. Esiason pulls it down, puts it up, and the completion to Johnny Mitchell. Again, all kinds of time to read, survey, and let it go. And that'll be a first down to the 32, a 34-yard gain.
Yeah, Boomer knows, though, that if he threw that ball out there, that's a touchdown. But Johnny Mitchell, over time, is really going to be a force, I think, with the Jets. When you think what they have on the outside, if you have a guy right here over the middle, he's right here. Now, he's going to break wide open. And if you have a tight end with some speed, like Miami does in Keith Jackson, I mean, you have a guy that can really take the pressure off your wide receivers.
It looks like something Vincent Brisby did for the Patriots, and Parcells was on him in an instant.
Oh, yeah, last week.
Yep, Baxter trying to run wide, gets inside the 30. You go back to Johnny Mitchell, you know, this is really his senior year. He came out after his sophomore year at Nebraska, and he was really enthusiastic talking to him the other day. He said, I came in, I was a small town kid, I was kind of lost in the New York area. He stayed around all off season, got himself in tip-top shape.
Is it kind of nice? He's got a mouthpiece, though, that matches his uniform. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. I'm glad you brought that up, Pat.
You know, if Boomer Esiason keeps this up, he's going to be the most famous peroxide blonde in New York since Madonna. Easily.
But Madonna doesn't have peroxide blonde hair right now.
Okay, Phil Simms in.
Unless check she didn't anyway. Here's Johnny Johnson to the 25-yard line. Last I saw her, she was at an NBA game we were doing. She had red hair. Now, I don't know if that's the latest or not. Dwayne Sabb over there to make the stop. There he is, number 95. It's going to be a 3rd down and still 3 yards to go. Sabb, who played collegiately at New Hampshire.
You know, here are the Jets on their way to another shutout. And here they thought they were going to have to wait for the new Baltimore franchise to have another shutout, but no.
Is that a prediction or what?
Could be, yes. You think you're on me again about the Buffalo game, aren't you? All right, that's fair.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. Baxter in the backfield. Esiason spinning out of there and got rid of it. Eventually, Goad came after him, Tim Goad. But again, he did a nice job of buying some additional time.
Well, it's time for him to sit down.
Yeah.
I mean, really, 11:44 remaining in the game. They're leading 35-0. No reason for him to come back into the game in the next series.
Well, if he sits down, he will not have 3 consecutive 300-yard games. He's a 215, 17 of 21. And now Blanchard, who earlier missed a 53-yard attempt, will attempt one from 42. Looking for the first points of our second half. Blanchard kicked plenty of distance, and Blanchard is right down the middle. And so the Jets build their lead to 38-0. 11 minutes, 40 seconds left here in the Meadowlands.
Lead. This is the first time in over a decade, if the Jets hold on to this shutout, that they will have shut out an opponent in regular season play. It's quite a display by the Jets and by Boomer. By the way, on our post-game Holiday Inn show, the stadium show, Phil Simms will be here, and he's going to look ahead to our telecast next week of Buffalo and the Giants, give us a little insight about the Giants, and we'll also be talking to the stars of this game. So be sure and join us for the Holiday Inn stadium show right after the game.
Okay, Bob. I'll tell you, if I had a physique like that, I don't think I'd take my shirt off. Would you?
Gary, you do.
But my shirt's on, though, Pat.
Thank goodness. Those guys are all wondering about, hey, what is photosynthesis? You know, turning green.
Speaking of green, the Jets have certainly flashed their green here tonight. As Aguiar kicking off, Crittenden's going to bring it up. And that was, I think, Marvin Jones. Yes, it was. The #1 pick, 4th pick in the first round out of Florida State, the Lombardi and Butkus Award winner. And so the Patriots will start there. Bledsoe will continue at quarterback. 11:30 left to go in the game, and Browning Nagel. This may mean that we'll see #8 when they get the football.
First and 10 for the Patriots from their own 17.
Line of scrimmage, the 16-yard line for the Patriots. Leonard Russell is a running back. 38-0 the Jets. They led at halftime 35-0. Bledsoe's got protection, and that's off the hands of Leonard Russell, and that's going to be down. Marvin Jones, did he come up with it? No, he trapped it. Pretty good athletic move, though, by Jones on the deflection. Off of the intended receiver, Leonard Russell.
Well, they want to play more and more of Marvin Jones because he is a striker as a middle linebacker.
Boy, Leonard Russell's had a tough time hanging on the ball.
That's a catch.
Boy, that looks to me like it's a catch.
Yeah, that is a catch. That's an interception. Should have been.
Well, it's not going to be, though. It's going to be 2nd down 10 from the 16. Yeah, that was some move by Jones. He came out of nowhere. Bledsoe, look at the arm.
Wow.
And Vincent Brisby with his first catch. He is the 3rd-round draft pick out of Northeast Louisiana. That ball, he had something on that one.
Yeah, now he's still hanging in the pocket. I'm talking about Drew Bledsoe and his entire team for that matter. I mean, still hanging in there, still firing it away. I mean, you ignore the score at this point. He's had a tough night tonight with only the 91 yards, but we said this thing's a process, and how he responds to this kind of situation, and Parcells just saying, hey, you got to go through this, Drew Bledsoe, and this is part of the deal. I mean, you're going to have games like this, and your team's going to be way behind.
A process, but a painful process for this 21-year-old. With those 91 yards, he's hit 12 of 27. They're going to measure to see if he got the first down. And it's going to be just short. Bill Parcells brought with him to New England 8 assistants that he had coached with before, and here's one of them, Ray Perkins, a former Alabama, New York Giant coach, their offensive coordinator. And so that maturation process we're talking about will be involving Perkins and Bledsoe as they continue on. Now, this team, and it might come at a very good time, has a bye next week and get ready then to go to play the Cardinals in Phoenix. They may need a week to regroup after what's happened here.
The 3-point favorite.
From the 26-yard line, 3rd down and less than a yard. Leonard Russell's got it, and they're still fighting for more. So Russell is a guy they need to really get cranked up. They traded John Stevens away to Green Bay. They let Skip Lockwood go this week. So they only had 2 running backs coming into this ball game, 2 tailbacks. That's Corey Kroom, the rookie, and Leonard Russell.
Yeah, and Bill Parcells said, hey, I'm not ready to write off Leonard Russell, but I'm not sure about him yet either. I mean, he's had the 3 turnovers, and I mean, Parcells has said before, you know, I hate tornadoes and hurricanes and fumbles.
Not necessarily in that order,
yeah.
Right? Bledsoe back again. Up the field, Marv Cook, and Cook takes a shot. I'll tell you, I don't know who hits harder, Washington or Lott.
Yeah,
this time it was Washington. 30-yard gain. He just took his head off.
Now, Brian Washington, number 48, he is another one of those guys who's coming on.
Now, wait a minute. This is going to come back. There's a penalty flag back at the 21.
Now, Rob Moore on offense, Brian Washington and Marvin Jones on defense. This is an improving Jet team.
Holding on the offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. This is first down.
And Gary, while Bill Parcells really doesn't have a lot of pressure on him to win this year, he signed a 5-year contract. There is some uncertainty about the ownership. Turn it over, and Bruce Coslett, he does have some pressure on him to win this year. They brought in some veteran free agents like Ronnie Lott. They made some trades for guys like Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, by free agency, they picked up some very good football players, 3 former Pro Bowlers, and Loggeman comes firing across before the snap of the ball. So that penalty was a 1st and 20 then before the snap after the long completion to Cook comes back.
Encroachment on the defense, number 56.
That was Loggeman.
Remains first down.
I was talking to Jeff. I said, you know, when you started playing this league, you had that long ponytail behind you that always came out of the back of his helmet. And he said, I told everybody if we'd make the playoffs, and they did in '91, I'd shave my head. Very bright guy from Virginia.
Yeah, Bruce Armstrong, the tackle for the Patriots, was saying, you know, he plays the whole play, every play. You got to stay on him the whole time.
Bledsoe again, McMurtry, the intended receiver, and an interception. Hasty comes up with it. Hasty with his first interception of the year. Very few quarterbacks go after him because he is so athletic, and there was a good example of it.
You know, James Hasty is one of the best corners you haven't really heard much from. I mean, and he'll bait a quarterback. You see his zone defense, he's got his eyes on the quarterback the whole time, and then the ball is thrown a little bit too far inside, but he's in the zone, he sees the hook pattern, and then he drives. And the other thing he has, Gary, is pretty doggone good hands.
Yes, he does. James Hasty coming up with the interception. That's the 6th interception of the year for Bledsoe. Hasty out of Washington State. He played there when Mark Rippon was the quarterback, and now Browning Nagel comes in at quarterback. From the 37 after the interception, 9:33 left in the game, 38-0 the Jets with the lead. Adrian Morrell, nice cutback. Morrell's on his feet. He could go all the way to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, New York. 37 yards. He can take it to the house.
Yeah. This Jet team has shown a lot tonight. Again, you don't know how good they are because of the Patriots defense, but they've got a lot of different type of players, big-time players, and they've got some other methodical players. Have a tight end that can go deep, and now they have a back in Adrian Morrell who can go the distance for you. That's one thing they really didn't have a year ago.
He led them in rushing in the preseason, and that brings a smile from Bruce Coslett. He's got 3 running backs who gives him some outstanding depth. Thomas, Johnson, and now Morrell. Morrell averaged almost 6 yards a carry in the preseason. Blanchard's point after attempt to make it 45-0. 9 minutes, 26 seconds left. And Morrell, the rookie from West Virginia, his first touchdown in the NFL, and the way he looks, it's not going to be his last. Offense and defense, Esiason and Lott. We talked about them at the start of the night, and they certainly have not disappointed us. By the way, the biggest margin of victory for the Jets in their history is 42 points. And now the 45-0 lead. Crittenden will bring it out. This guy's exciting, isn't he? He did not play very much football in college. He was a soccer star at Virginia Tech, where it was illegal to use your hands. Now he's trying to use them as a wide receiver. Well, the Patriots have not stopped a running game all year long. Now tonight, they don't have a 100-yard runner that went against them like Thomas and Sanders and Warren, but collectively look at what's happened.
Well, you know, if you add the 11 yards that Chafee had, if my math is correct, let's see, it's 162 yards.
You carry
all
one.
Those, yeah, carry the one. There you go. 162 yards they've given up to a plethora of backs.
A plethora, a veritable plethora. First down now, back to throw, Bledsoe, and a little slant intended for McMurtry. Second down.
Now, you can tell a lot by a quarterback, I think, just really just by his eyes. He's still on the game. Still confident. And Bledsoe is a confident quarterback.
You a beast, Oxen. I gotta go there.
Second down, 10 now from the 26-yard line. 9:13 left in the game. Bledsoe with some time, and he hits Brisby, and Vincent Brisby's out of bounds. Boy, did he get belted that time. Brisby took a shot as he tried to hang on to that football. Good hitting that time by Hasty, who had the interception on the previous series.
You know, the NFL season is such a long grind, Gary. I mean, this is a game that if you're a Jet or a Jet fan, or Bruce Coslet, we saw him smile a little bit. Even Ronnie Lott, I think he smiled a little bit earlier in the game. And it's something you have to feel good about. You don't have many games like this in your 16-game schedule, so it's a moment to enjoy.
If you're the Patriots, you look up and you say there's still 9 minutes and 9 seconds left. On a third down and 10. Bledsoe again, and going up top. Some bumping and pushing going on. Incomplete. Brisby, the intended receiver. He and Hasty were fighting each other all the way down the field. There's no flag on the play.
James Hasty loves to force a receiver out of his route. I mean, what James Hasty will do is say, hey, I know you like to have this kind of release or that, after he watches a bunch of tapes, and then he tries to take that release away. And yeah, there was some bumping and grinding going on there, but he had his head turned around, so it wasn't an interference penalty.
So on a fourth down, Saxon will come in and punt the football. Saxon got a very good foot into this one. Clifford Hicks is hit instantaneously. Very good coverage at time. Renee Thompson, that shouldn't surprise you.
Yeah.
That's his specialty. Special teams. 51-yard punt. Renee Thompson stops him right there, and we'll be back with 8:57 to go. New York Jets says we have 8:57 to go in this game. The Jets trying to go to 2-1 and pull into a four-way tie for first in the AFC East. And the Patriots are going to go to 0-4 as Browning Nagel, who last year started 13 games for this Jets team with an outstanding arm. Here's the guy that just wasn't ready to take over, but they think he can still be exceptional in the years ahead. And that ball is loose on the floor, and Baxter comes up with it. They just didn't get that exchange completed, so Nagel and Baxter not on the same page there. Let's look ahead to the Jets. We talked about they'll pull into a first-place tie. They're going to play the unbeaten Eagles next.
Yeah, that's a tough schedule. You know, the Raiders, I think a much improved team this year. Of course, the Bills and then the Giants, they'll play right here. It'll be a Giant home game.
They'll change everything to blue rather than having the green here at the Meadowlands, but that is not easy.
No.
Of course, you said there's no easy schedule in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think there really is an easy schedule.
Second down and 11. Baxter will get it this time. Let's go outside, and pretty good reaction by Darrell Wren, number 27. Also over there's Terry Ray, a second-year man out of Oklahoma. So to bring up a third down and 9. Now, Browning Nagel played collegiately at Louisville. Howard Schnellenberger was his coach there. Last year, he suffered 17 interceptions. They call him Nuke because of that great arm that he has.
You know, this is a great opportunity for him, Gary. You know, just like Brian Washington was trying to learn from Ronnie Lott, I think Browning Nagel has a lot to learn about quarterbacking from Boomer Esiason. You know, how you carry yourself to how you play. And he should take advantage of a great opportunity for him over the next couple of years.
Third down and 8. So Nagel will try his first pass of the year. He completes it to Morrell. Morrell's going to be short of the first down.
Wow, somebody's still hitting down there.
Yes, sir. And that somebody was Rod Smith, number 22, the second-round draft pick a year ago from Notre Dame. There he is. This guy's a sprinter. He ran track in high school as well as at Notre Dame.
You know, and this is the kind of game, too, that coaches will evaluate a lot of players, Gary, because they'll watch the tape. The thing about tape, it does not lie. And they'll find out which players are playing hard all game long and which players are taking some vacations. And they'll make decisions about next week's team or next year's team on how guys respond to a game like this.
Take a vacation here tonight, you might take a vacation for the season.
You're right. With Parcells, you would.
Aguiar, very high. Troy Brown will go back. And almost didn't put it away. Now comes out of there with it. Comes across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Well, if you ever wanted to go inside the blimp, here's your opportunity. High above the Meadowlands, a Goodyear blimp. I went up in that thing in Phoenix. It's really interesting to fly and get a chance to be around it. And it's quite a sensation. And as you can see, the views we get here from East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Now, how long were you up in the blimp?
Oh, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I flew it.
Was this a freebie?
I was the pilot for a while.
You were the pilot? You have a license and everything?
It was a freebie. I mean, what do you expect me to pay? I mean,
of course.
Bledsoe back to throw, and the catch is made by Cook. I'll tell you, here's a guy that's played hard in the second half, Marv Cook. He's
when you think about Marv Cook, he's averaged 61 receptions over the last 3 years, and Marv Cook is one of the players. There's lots of them around the National Football League, not necessarily blessed with the most talent. But this is you were talking earlier about him practicing hard every day, preparing. I mean, you can win a lot of games if you have guys who practice like Marv Cook does day in and day out.
3 catches for 31 yards now for Cook. 6:24 left in the game. 45-0 the Jets. Bledsoe, Kevin Turner makes the catch, and Marvin Jones flies over. We've seen a couple of flashes in this game to see why they picked this guy in the first round.
Well, he sure looks like a linebacker. I mean, he clearly has the size. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. I mean, he has a linebacker's personality, and they call him a striker. I mean, he just didn't knock guys down. He knocks you back.
Mm-hmm.
And we showed him making a couple of nice plays. He had an interception that really wasn't called an interception, and he made a nice play on the outside there. 5
tackles for the night for Marvin Jones. Bledsoe going up top, far side, the ball up in the air, and it's caught. Ray Crittenden comes up with it. That was good concentration by Crittenden, who had 5 catches last week. That's a 44-yard strike, and it's going to set it up inside the 20-yard line of the Jets.
First catch for Crittenden, but I'll tell you, Bledsoe has thrown every kind of ball tonight. The deep one with some touch, as he did here. I mean, it was a good adjustment for a guy that hasn't played much football. You called him a soccer player, only 9 catches before this year. But that's a nice adjustment for a guy who hasn't played a lot of ball.
A guy who played mainly soccer. These two teams have tangled since the beginning of the AFL in 1960. The Jets have never shut them out in all these years.
And that's what all these defensive players are thinking right now. Shutout.
Bledsoe broken out. Good play that time. Brisby, the intended receiver, and coverage coming from Clifford Hicks, also Anthony Pryor. Both of them were over there converging on the play and broke it up. That was almost breaking the shutout here.
Yeah, Anthony Pryor, number 37, had a chance here and then knocks it away.
It'll bring up 2nd down 10 from the 16-yard line. Russell in the backfield. Bledsoe with time again over the middle, and Brisby hit hard but hangs on short of the 10-yard line. Marcus Turner wraps him up there.
But Gary, we've talked about Parcells' teams, and we've talked a little bit about Bledsoe not giving up. I do give this some credit. I mean, it's 4:30 left in the game. You're trailing by a huge margin, and yet you're still hanging in there. You're still firing it away. You're throwing the ball up top. I mean, there's some pride on this team too, trying to avoid a shutout.
They'll look at this and say, here was a beginning point to get work through the bye and get ready for Phoenix. 3rd down. Hand off to Russell, tried to cross him up, and it didn't fool him. And because Marvin Jones would not be fooled. And Marvin Jones, they got to play him a lot. He has backed up Kyle Clifton up to this point, who has been their quarterback of the defense and has led them in tackles 6 of 9 years, but they're going to have 54 in the field a lot.
He's a guy that was awfully 54 right there in the middle of your screen. We've seen him on pass plays. He didn't take any time to react. He blew right through the lead blocker. I think it was Kevin Turner. I mean, he saw the play, he read the play, he blew through the lead block and made the stop.
4th down and still 6. Bledsoe with time, and the ball is caught kind of on a second grab over the middle, and that is Sam Gash, the fullback. He caught it on the way down. And so they will have a 1st and goal. They needed to get to the 6-yard line.
Well, Parcells said our best chance of scoring is through the air. This is not my kind of team. I like to run and control it, but right now we've got to throw the ball. And actually, the defensive back helped him catch it. Defensive back Marvin Jones kept that ball alive so Gash could catch it.
And Jones is shaken up now. He's being looked at as he is wandering around, but he's impacted this 4th quarter, flying around, and that time helped Gash make the catch. A 1st and goal to 5. And again, you don't think this defense doesn't want to throw a shutout here?
Absolutely.
He's okay.
Take a look at 54 in the middle of your screen. Yeah, he kept that ball alive. Came down on his right shoulder. But, you know, the Patriots, flip it over. They want to score just as much as the Jets want to keep them out of it.
Yep. Again, it's hard to believe since 1960 they have not shut the Patriots out all these years in this old AFL rivalry. 1st and goal from the 5. Leonard Russell, touchdown New England. 5-yard run for Russell. So they avert the shutout with 2:47 left in the game. Well, I guess the way you got to look at it, it was 35-0 at half. And since that time, they've hung in here tough in the second half. Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator for the Jets.
Well, he said, hey, the first 2 games they played against Marino and they played against Elway. They gave up a lot of big plays. Said no big plays tonight. And but for the last long pass, they played pretty well on defense.
Scott Sisson will attempt the point after. So it's 45-7 with 2:47 left, and that's the first rushing touchdown allowed by the Jets this season.
You know, 2 good blocks by both of the tight ends of the Patriots. Marv Cook, number 85, was right there in the end. The one coming in motion is Ben Coates. Now, Cook hooks his guy, Leonard Marshall, and Coates knocks his guy out, and then it's an easy run for Leonard Russell. So we saw Marv Cook, who made some real nice catches in that drive, all of a sudden throw the key block so that Leonard Russell could dance in the end zone.
And Roger Ryler, a statistician, pointed out that this guy was 5 of 6 on the drive for 68 yards. So their bright moment offensively. Let's take a look at week 4 in the NFL on the Coors Light scoreboard, and we'll get you through what happened throughout the NFL. As Andre Ware with the start today, the Vikings. Did you see Jim McMahon? He completed the pass to Eric Gulliford at the last with no time, hardly left. They had 14 seconds left in the game, no timeouts left, and still set up the winning field goal.
Morton Anderson again wins it for the Saints. There's a surprise today.
Yeah, it really is. Everett came back strong today. Seahawks winning 2 in a row. Another day of field goals there. Casey with 4. And the Colts winning. Jeff George came into that ball game today, by the way. Dolphins winning in Rich Stadium.
Did Marino have another nice day?
Oof. Oh, he is tough. And next Sunday, we'll be in Rich Stadium, the Bills and the Giants. And so Sisson setting it up as they try this onside kick here with 2:47 left in the game. Jets expecting it. 45-7 the count. Back deep is Mathis Morrell, but they're all by themselves. Everybody else up on the line, and he kicks off. And so Mathis going to watch that one go in for the touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Our producer of the NFL on TNT is Peter Lasser. Our director, Lonnie Dale. Dennis Stone, our technical director. Technical manager, Bob McGee. Stephanie Ray Bradley, our unit manager. Associate director, Scott Cockrell and Joe Vincius. Mark Silverman and Tim Ballard, our graphics coordinator. Shannon Mizell, who coordinates everything we do in the booth here. The stage manager, Tom Delnos. Snacks Delnos and Roger Riley in the booth with us. Tom, our spotter. Roger, our statistician. We got a nickname for it. You started this. It's your fault.
You know, there's Malibu Kelly Hayes and there's Tom Snacks Delnos.
That's right. Nagel giving off as the Jets come out now with 2:37 left in this game. Morrell carrying for a couple of yards. One thing about the Jets, their big question mark, Pat, coming into the season was the offensive line. They really struggled last year protecting Browning Nagel, but they have certainly played much better. Last year they gave up 39 sacks, didn't give up a sack against Miami. That was the first time since '82 that they had kept a team off of the quarterback. As we come to the 2-minute warning, and they have not allowed a sack tonight.
Yeah, you're right. That was a big issue for them. And then, as we said at the very beginning of the broadcast, Boomer Esiason, could he play back to 88 and 89? So far this season, Boomer Esiason, he's back.
The fountain of youth. He found it somewhere in New York. We'll be back
tonight.
I'll tell you something on a more serious note. This year they found out his 2-year-old son Gunnar has cystic fibrosis, and he said that has really inspired his play, and we just wish his family the very best.
Absolutely.
Tyson now has completed for the year 72% of his passes. What do you mean he's not a 70% completion guy, huh?
That's what Bruce Codlitz said.
Here's Morrell again. Morrell getting a lot of playing time, and you can see why they're excited about him. Darrell Wren, a former Buffalo Bill who played at Pittsburgh State in Kansas, coming up there. They picked him up by the waiver wire on August 31st.
You know, Gary, you think about the Jets, and they went out in free agency and some trades and so on and so forth. They made some moves, and they had to. They could not stand still because everybody in this division is getting better around them. Of course, you know, Miami went out and got some more players. They have the last 2 years. The Bills have gone to the Super Bowl the last 3 years. The Colts are an improving team. So if they didn't make some moves, they were going to lose some ground. But they went out, and so far, both Ronnie Lott and Boomer Esiason have really paid some dividends.
Absolutely. Boomer Esiason, by the way, will be a guest of the Holiday Inn postgame show. As Morrell then knocked out of bounds by Wren again, stops the clock with 1:11 left in the game.
Well, we'll get both blonde New York quarterbacks on the same set.
That's right. Phil Simms and Boomer.
Yeah, two guys who have played courageously for a long time and awfully well for a long time.
Back to punt the football will be Aguiar. 45-7. The Jets led 14-0 after the first quarter. 35-0 at halftime. No score in the third quarter, and took a 38-0, 45-0 lead, and then the Patriots got on the scoreboard with 2:47 left in this game, and the fair catch is made just short of the 45-yard line. 34-yard punt that time by Aguiar, and Crittenden, the guy who made the fair catch. And so we're going to announce tonight's Cadillac player of the game, and it's Boomer Esiason. 17 of 21, 215 yards, 1 touchdown. He completed his first 13 passes, and the first 5 times they had the football, they scored touchdowns.
I'll tell you what, the offensive line had a lot to do with that too. I mean, could have easily have named them the Cadillac player of the game, but certainly Esiason deserving.
I don't have that many Cadillacs.
Well, they played like Cadillacs, these guys.
From the 45 now, Bledsoe will try to finish up the last minute 3. And a crossing pattern intended for Timpson. Timpson couldn't hang on. Pat Chafee, who was hurt on the last play of the first half. We understand it looks like he's going to have surgery on the knee.
You know, that's the only cloud over the Jet win, because that was right at the end of the half when they were trying to run the clock out. It was an absolutely meaningless play.
And Chafee has really been solid behind Baxter at fullback, catching the ball. Here's Bledsoe again, still winging it up there, and it's incomplete again. Pretty good hit over the middle. Kyle Clifton, who's in there now, pounded Ben Coates. Ben Coates all night long has been extended, and people just beating up on him. How many times you've seen him go up for a ball?
That's at least 3, maybe 4 times. I mean, it looks like he's caught the ball, and then he just gets drilled. Ooh. That time it was Clifton and Hicks.
He's saying, let me out of here. He has a 54 and a 25-yard touchdown catch this year. In fact, he caught Drew Bledsoe's first touchdown of his NFL career.
Well, that look on his face is really emblematic of this entire game for the Patriots.
And there's still 56 seconds left in it. Bledsoe doesn't quit, though. Timpson again, and he has a first down catch. Again, Bledsoe is really hanging tough. That's a 13-yard completion. He has averaged 41 passes a game, and he's thrown a lot of passes here tonight. 40.
If my math is correct, the next one he'll be right on his average.
I think you're right. Any way you average it, it's going to come out that way. Here's Timpson again. He hangs on. And that's a very good catch. Takes it inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Again, these are guys proving to Parcells they'll hang in there. That's a 24-yard gain.
Yeah, everybody's going to sit around and watch these tapes tomorrow, and they're going to figure out, hey, who was playing hard the whole game?
Well, I tell you, I'll bet on Bill Parcells. He'll get this thing turned around. It's just not going to happen right away. And not as soon as he or the Patriot fans would like. Bledsoe throws the ball incomplete. There's a penalty flag. Clifford Hicks may have been there ahead of time.
Now, one other thing, the Patriot offensive line has done a pretty good job this second half for Drew Bledsoe. You know, only when the Jets have put some pressure on via the blitz have they really gotten to Bledsoe.
Pass interference on the defense, number 25. Automatic first down.
So interference from Hicks, one of the free agents they picked up. This one coming from the Buffalo Bills. So it'll set it up first and goal just inside the 10-yard line. 4 seconds left in this one. Bledsoe, and that will be grounded, and the clock has expired, and it's over. So Drew Bledsoe went above the average of 41 attempts. And Bill Parcells, his homecoming, not a pleasant one. Bledsoe with 42 attempts, completing 19 for 196 yards and 2 interceptions. And again, the Holiday Inn Stadium show coming up. And Boomer will be there with Bob Neal, Kevin Conley, and Phil Simms. 45-7, the Jets go to 2-1.